welcome to Feelings and Other F Words. I'm Dr. Daryl Appleton, and yes, I am in a bathing suit and a jean jacket at 7 a.m. recording this, but I had to get on here because this one sent me into a tizzy of sorts, this week's F word, because it's something that I hinge my definitions of success on, and diving into the research just showed me how little I know about life. Don't you hate when that happens? But again, and it is very timely, so we had to get this out for this weekend. That's because this week's F word is all about freedom. That's right. We're not talking it politically. We are talking about freedom behaviorally. And I don't think we talk about it enough. And after what I have learned, we need to start talking about it more. So let's dive right into the nerdy stuff because we got to get going on this. 2002, Dan Gilbert, professor at Harvard. Was he a professor? He may not have been professor. Fact check me there. But he was at Harvard doing a study with photography students. And he had every student print 2 black and white photos that they took of something they cared about. And he told one half that the choice was final. They had to pick, they had to choose, they could keep it, but the choice was final. And the other half, he said they had a few days to swap it, change their mind, send it back. And then Gilbert measured just how much they loved the photo they kept or that they chose. And here's the part that bothered me. The students who were not allowed to change their minds liked the photo more, despite everyone wanting to be in the group where they had the choice. And I think that this is interesting because all too often, when we're forced into a choice, we think that's the worst thing ever. But really what we're starting to see with this study is that endless options are the things that keep us from actually enjoying a thing. So today we are going to talk about the F word that the whole country is shouting this year about: freedom. And I want to make an argument that's going to feel really wrong at first. What you are calling freedom is the reason you do not feel free. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back here. The argument feels wrong, but most of what we call freedom are the reasons why we do not feel free. It reminds me of that Eagles song, right? Like, we are all prisoners here of our own device kind of thing. Yes. Anytime I can quote an Eagles song, it's a good day. So here's the things that I have seen in my life of being a mental health clinician, of being an executive advisor. Freedom truly is one of the most overused words in American life, and it is the least operational. We have flags everywhere. We have flags on bags and on trays and on headbands. I mean, 4th of July is Old Navy's Met Gala. Like, they are ready to go. And I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at them. You do you, Old Navy. I'm with you. But if I stopped you, a high-functioning, successful person who arguably has more freedom than almost anyone who has ever lived up until this point, and I asked you to name one thing that you could do tomorrow to be more free, you probably wouldn't have an answer for me. Because we don't know what freedom actually means, and we certainly don't know how to act on it appropriately. And it's not a failure. It's not a failure of patriotism. It's a failure of definition. And that's what this show does, right? We take things, we understand why we are the way we are and what the F to do about it. That's what we do here. So that's what we're going to do with this. There are 2 cages that I found with freedom. The first cage is keeping every door open. Right? We think freedom is keeping these exit strategies, these doors open to leave, when the open door is actually the cage. And there's a few studies that support this. So the first is Gilbert's study, right? That's reversibility. Keeping your options open actually sabotages the satisfaction of what you choose, the pictures, right? By having more choices, you liked what you chose less versus A or B. Pick, babe. What do you like? And being like, you know what? I actually love that. So that exit that we're trying to preserve is actually taxing the thing that we already have, which we'll get into in a second. I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this, with dating and things of that nature. The other study was done by Schwartz in 2002, around the same time. And he found that there are people who keep searching for the best. He called them maximizers, versus those who pick good enough and commit. And the people who are trying to maximize their life he found were arguably worse off. They were less happy, less optimistic, lower self-esteem, lower life satisfaction, more regret, more depression, more perfectionism, because they were trying to be the best, have the best, make the most, maximize it. I find this with like a party, right? When you go in with really, really high expectations, you're like, oh, that wasn't that great. Versus the party, you're kind of like, I don't know, I guess I'll go. And you're like, oh my God, that was amazing. Because you had no expectations. There was no like max level you were trying to reach. Makes sense. And this study was done across several samples. It wasn't just one. So he kept finding this over and over again. And the other part of this too is like a lot of times the people I work with, the people listening to this, like you guys, like myself, we are chronic maximizers. We're high achievers. We are constantly trying to leave the door open or wait for the next best thing because we're waiting to progress our lives or we're looking to do that. And the issue is that we're paying rent on freedoms that we never exercise on. Like we're not using the liberty, we're not taking the liberty on these freedoms, but we are paying the bill. We are paying the bill because it is taxing. The apartment that you fully won't move into because there might be a better one happening. The room you just like can't decorate in the house you bought because you're waiting for the perfect paint color or the perfect furniture to come in. The people, again, dating out there who are constantly swiping, or you're keeping that one person at bay just in case, right? Like you're paying a tax on the life that you're living by keeping those freedoms alive. You're not fully engaged in that life. You're not fully enjoying your space. You're not fully enjoying your relationship. And that's a real thing. The second cage, right? If one is leaving the door open, the second cage is control. And the thing that feels the most like freedom, like not being forced into a choice, right? Like saying, I'm not doing that. You can't make me. It's not freedom. It's a reflex. So how we integrate behaviorally in a choice is also part of the reason that we are being kept in a cage. So some of the studies around this, when we perceive that freedom is threatened, we want to push back more. Or we want the thing more. If you have children, I mean, I don't even know why I need to go into studies with this. If you have kids, or if you have worked with somebody who is just like operationally defiant, if you are like, hey, let's do pizza, and they're like, I hate pizza, I don't want pizza, right? Like taking away that choice, right, of having Chinese. Like when you force somebody or you put the option out there, somebody potentially might see that as there's their liberty being taken away. Again, I don't need to go into it further. If you have kids, you freaking know. Please wear your sandals was a comment that I said this morning. You would have thought that I asked her to sacrifice her feet to me. The resistance of the sandals. And guess what? She ultimately ended up picking them when I was like, I don't care. Pick whatever you want then. I don't know. It was just a suggestion. This is something that is real and it is documented. And a lot of what we experience of freedom is actually resistance. And it's a defensive twitch that is mistaken for a considered choice. We will feel the most free at the exact moment we are least free, when we are reacting, right? When you can't tell me that, you can't say that to me. And I think Instagram culture and TikTok culture have done a really bad job at your voice matters, your opinion matters, what you think, how you feel matters. Yeah, it does to you. It matters to you, but that doesn't mean it's the right choice for you. And when talking about freedom, it doesn't mean that when you have that knee-jerk reaction of somebody trying to give you loving criticism or somebody showing you a different way of doing something or telling you no, it's not necessarily a threat on your freedom, even though it feels that way in the moment. So a lot of times our instinct to be like, you can't tell me that, it's a free country. That's a knee-jerk reaction. That's not actually you choosing freedom. And I think that to me is fascinating in a sense as well. And there is a high achiever element to this too. The way top performers truly confuse autonomy with refusing help, refusing structure, refusing to be managed. The no feels sovereign, right? There's something intoxicating about being able to say, no, I'm going to do it my way. And it's a reflex thing. It doesn't actually make you more free. Instead, it probably puts more pressure on you. You now have to do the job of 3 people because you refused help. What are you proving? Like, for what? For what is my thing. But I do think that that is a fascinating cage that we put ourselves in as well. So not only keeping the exit open, but also you will not tell me what to do, and us trying to do it our way without actually thinking through that. It just comes out because it feels like you're trying to take my freedom away. And for me, real freedom is noticing when you're only reacting and being able to say yes from your values rather than saying no on your instinct. That to me matters. And the thing is, like, we're doing this now because 250 years ago, a country was founded on a very specific idea that freedom is important. And if you read the documents, if you read the founding documents, they're almost entirely about freedom from tyranny, from interference, from being told what to do. Don't tread on me. It's a natural and national reflex. And it's both of our cages in one phrase: leave every door open and refuse anyone who reaches for one. That's really it. We keep ourselves stuck, which is the opposite of freedom, in my opinion. And there's a really great philosopher, Isaiah Berlin, who gave us a language for this. And he said there are 2 kinds of liberty: liberty from, the absence of somebody interfering with you, and freedom to, the actual capacity to pursue what matters to you. And there is a pattern in the research, there's a pattern in our country. The people most obsessed with freedom from, right? Freedom from meaning the absence of somebody interfering with you, tend to end up the least free to do. You can win every fight against somebody who interferes with you. You can keep every door open. You can refuse every hand helping you and still not be able to do a single thing you actually value. And that, to me, I find is where a lot of people get caught up. So the other side of this, and here's like the thing you probably came from, is the more ability you have, the freer you feel, or the freer you are. And it's not a slogan. It's not this like nicely thing of like, oh, when you have more ability, you're more free. Amartya Sen's life work, she's an economist who redefined freedom as capability. And it's not the absence, she said, of constraint, but the real usable capacity to do things you have reason to value. A person with every door open and no ability to walk through it isn't free. You're just standing in a hallway. That's basically what that means. So it's not about having just the choice, and it's not about having somebody not interfere with you. It's about the ability and the capacity to walk and the capability to walk through that door, to do something, to engage in something that matters to you and that is valuable to you. And there's a lot of overlap between psychology and philosophy when it comes to this and how humans need to feel self-directed. Right? That's something I think we all need. We all want to feel like we are making this choice and no one is going to tell me what to do. And that's because it has 2 things: autonomy, which I get to act from my own values, right? Like I get to act from a place that I choose, and competence, when I'm actually good at something, when I'm truly competent at the thing I want to do or I value. So the ability to choose a door and the ability to become someone who can walk through that door is a path to freedom. So if you want a life where you are living in a great relationship, you need to choose a door to walk through and not keep all your options open, and also be a person who is in a healthy relationship because you are also healthy. See what I'm saying here? See where this is going? And the thing is, like, when we look at our 2 cages, that maximizer holding options or hoarding them and the enormous freedom from, like, the world becomes so much more intense because you're trying to reach for something that may not ever exist. There will always be something better. There will always be something else out there. And when you add that in with somebody who refuses help or wants to do it completely their way and would rather win the argument but not build anything, you're really kind of constraining and keeping your life even more in that cage. And neither is free in a way that lets you actually build a life worth living. And that to me is incredibly important. To sum it all up, too long didn't read. Freedom isn't an open door. It's not the reflexive no. It's the willingness to close a door and the ability, the earned practice, competent ability to walk through the one that's left. That is the freedom that no one can give you. That is the freedom that no one can take from you. And that is the freedom that you build yourself. So I'm going to leave you with this. This week, I want you to name a door that you've been keeping open that you will never actually walk through. The thing in your closet that you're saving for later, the relationship that you know you need to let go of, the opportunity that you think you might have at this company that you're dangling in front of yourself that's keeping you less satisfied at the job you're at. I want you to close a door. This week, close a door. Let freedom ring. Close a door, because closing it, it's not because that just closing it is free, like making you free. Because keeping it open is the thing that is costing you your freedom. With that, let freedom ring. Happy 4th of July. I want you all to start stepping through the cages of freedom and closing the doors that no longer need to be open and building a life inside of the life that you already have. Because I think you're going to start to see a lot of things change without that happening. I'm going to go and redefine what success means for me because I have a lot of thinking to do. Happy 4th. I love you all. I'll see you soon on the next episode of Feeling Another F Words.